Good morning, preschoolers. How are you all today? I hope you're doing good. Gosh, it's been a little while since I've talked to some of you, or a lot of you, actually. But I am getting, little messages from your moms and dads and stuff, which is good. So today is Monday. I don't know. I have to look at the calendar. Monday, April 27th. So we're towards the end of April already. I don't know if I would say already. Seems like it took a long time to get there. But we are at Monday, April 27th. You see it? What does a 27 look like? Well, that would be a 2-7. Do you see the 2-7 there? See if I can do this without making it fall on my head. Monday, April 27th. 2-7. So we're at the end of the month of April. And for April, there were a few things that happened, right? We got to have our bears come back and visit us, and your bear probably woke up and is out of his cave because now it is like way into spring. And today, speaking of spring, today's going to be really nice. I can see that the sun is shining already, and I think it's going to be in the 60s today, which would be really nice. One of the other things that we did in April, a lot of us probably celebrated Easter in some way, in whatever way your family celebrates Easter. Maybe you had a little Easter egg hunt, or you got to watch a church video. You probably decorated eggs. Maybe talked about the Easter bunny or whatever. So I'm sure you had some fun with that and got to do some Easter things, which is very nice. And then last week we had Earth Day, and there was an Earth Day video, so if you haven't seen it yet, go back and check it out, because I read a book that we probably don't read often enough in preschool, so it's probably not one that you're very familiar with, called The 10 Things I Can Do to Help My World. But today we are changing what we're talking about. We're going to talk about these beautiful things. What on earth are these? Ladybugs. I love ladybugs, but not even just ladybugs. Today I specifically have a ladybug book. I also have our ladybug toy, I guess you'd say. But I have other bugs out as well. So of course we know this one is a ladybug. And anytime you're looking at some of your bugs, if you are finding bugs outside, or if you have even just toy bugs at home, if you're wanting to get those out and play with those, one of the pretty cool things you can do with your bugs is you kind of study them, right? Because you are little scientists. You are. All of us really are, because we're all trying to figure out our world, especially nowadays, all trying to figure out our world and trying to learn about our world. And one of the ways that we can do that is by studying things that we see in our world, right? And so when you look at a bug, you're looking at how many legs your bug has. So we'll count the legs of our bug. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you can look and see, I'll move them over here. If your bug has any antenna, I can see my bug has one broken antenna and one nice antenna there. You can look and see with a ladybug, they're a kind of a beetle. So they have this kind of harder shell on the outside, and then it's underneath that harder shell that lifts up, and then underneath they have wings and they can fly, which is pretty cool. Do you ever get ladybugs in your house? We do. Yeah, we do too. We even just in the last couple weeks, we've had quite a few ladybugs coming up in our house. And so there's our cute little ladybug, all those beautiful little spots, beautiful red color. I also have one of these guys today. I brought him out. Our bee. Bzzz, ding. Look at this cute little bee. And so again, if we want to study our bees, now I wouldn't recommend doing this with the bee that's flying around. You're not going to want to grab them. But for the most part, the ladybugs will be nice. I hear that the orange ladybugs might give a little bite, but usually the red ones you can pick up. But a bee, you're not going to pick up a bee. Let's just be honest. So, one of the good ways to study bees would be with your toy bee, or if you have books about bees or videos about bees would be good. But we are going to count our bees' legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure enough, 6 legs, 2 antennae there. You can see that he has big eyes, which allows him to see. And he's got how many wings? This guy has two wings. Although if I look carefully, you may not be able to tell, but the wing is actually split, and I think that this bee actually has four wings. I can feel it's a little harder on the bottom, too. Maybe you can see it there. See, he has 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we would say this guy has four wings. And like I said, a good way to study our bees is to read a book. That's a perfect way to study our bees. And our ladybugs too, which is what we're going to do today. But I noticed something about our ladybug and our bee is they both have 6 legs, because insects typically have 6 legs. That's something to know about insects. I'm going to bring out one more. This guy. What is this guy? Yeah, he's a grasshopper. Grasshoppers are great. Look at these big, long legs. These big, long legs let them jump really far. And some grasshoppers even have like little wings, and they can kind of flutter as they jump, so they go really, really far, which is pretty fantastic. We'll take a look at our grasshopper. We're going to count his legs to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He has 6 legs too, because he's also an insect, and insects have 6 legs. And he's got these 2 antennae, these 2 feelers, to kind of help him learn about the world and sense things going on in his world. Grasshoppers are so much fun, but they're sometimes hard to catch. We've tried catching them here before, and you get close and you think you're almost there, and then he goes and it jumps away. And so they're really hard to get. But that's our nice little grasshopper. So our insects have had 6 legs today, because insects do have 6 legs. Now we have this guy. What is this guy? Yeah, he's a spider. This is a big spider. I don't really know what kind of spider he is supposed to be. I think these are not very accurate to actual spiders, but one thing that is accurate is the amount of legs, so we're going to study that, and we're going to look at that. So we're going to start here, because if you notice, he has some feelers and things here, but these things are not legs. These are much smaller. These are not legs, but we'll start here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Because spiders are arachnids, and they have 8 legs. Arachnids have more legs than insects, right? So he is a spider, and he has 8 legs. He has some feelers down here. He's got feelers up here. He is really wanting to learn about his world and see what's going on. You can kind of see they kind of made it look like he has little hairs all over him, which they do. Pretty good looking spider. Do you like spiders and bugs? I definitely like spiders and bugs. Definitely, definitely. I'm a big fan of them, actually. There are some that I don't love or like want in my house, I guess I would say. I love them outside. I love all bugs outside because they're fun to watch and study, and they do so many cool and interesting things. Like, think about the ants that are digging tunnels under our ground, and then they come up and you can watch them carry little bits of food and things around. So I really love to study bugs, especially outside. Right now we have a fair amount of ants inside, or we have a few ants inside. I think we're getting it under control here, but they are still fun to watch, but I don't really love them being inside. But I really, really, really do love watching bugs outside, because they just help you learn about your world. You just can sit and spend some time and watch them. And if they're a nice bug, or a bug that wouldn't be too scared of you, then you can pick them up. Like a worm, you can pick up your worms out there, and kind of feel them and really think about how they live, and you can watch them in their wet dirt. I love worms because they love that wet, muddy dirt, and we're always in the wet, muddy dirt. So bugs are a lot of fun to study. I have to say, there's one bug or arachnid, he's not a bug, I guess, that I don't love, and he's the centipede. Do you guys remember what a centipede is? Gosh, I don't know if I have one in here. Let me look. I probably do. I have my big box of big bugs. Here's an example of a centipede. I don't have a big one. I just a little one. The big one would just freak me out, man. I don't know. I have a bad association with these bugs. When I was a teenager, my mom and we went to go live with my grandma to help take care of my grandma. And I had a bedroom in her basement. And her basement, sometimes basements they're a little cold and maybe a little wet. Our basement was a little wet and just cold and damp all the time and dark and dingy. And sometimes I would turn on the light and I would see a lot of these guys and they run really fast like that. And they would freak me out. I think that's why I don't love centipedes these days. But I've seen 2 centipedes so far this spring in the house, and I don't usually see them in the house here, but I don't know. We put them outside when we see bugs because that's really where they should be, and most of the time that's where they want to be. If they want to be outside, because that's where their natural things are, that's where they can make homes and do what they need to do. But I do have a book about a bug today, and I already held it up. This is my favorite book about bugs because it gives us so many good information about our ladybugs in particular. This is our ladybug book. It's called Bright Beetle. Bright Beetle. You can see that there. And the name of the author is Rick Trustowski. That's quite a name. But he wrote this book. This is a great book because it will actually, it's not only fun and entertaining and interesting, but he teaches us a whole lot about our ladybugs. So here's kind of an example. You can see the picture of the ladybug with her hard shell, and then underneath her hard shell, they have these wings that they can help them fly. At the end of the summer, I'm going to turn you a little. At the end of the summer, when the grass turns golden, the meadow hums with buzzing insects. A shiny ladybug zips past a bumblebee and catches hold of the stem of a black-eyed Susan. These tall flowers here, these are the black-eyed Susan. Can you guess why they would call these a black-eyed Susan? Black-eyed Susan. They have that middle, that black, that real dark middle of the flower that looks like an eye poking out at you. The ladybug climbs into the cool shadow under the flower petals and lays 9 yellow eggs. See her eggs there? And then she lifts her wings and she flies away, leaving her young behind to care for themselves. For several days, the eggs are safely hidden, and then one morning they turn white. It is time for them to hatch. One by one, tiny ladybug larvae break through the eggshells. Immediately hungry, they scurry in all directions looking for food. But one egg remains unhatched. Finally it wiggles, and then it jerks, and the end splits open, and out squirms the last little larva. And you will notice this does not look like a ladybug. Not at all. That looks very different from what we think of as a ladybug. But this is one of the first stages of a ladybug, and it's called a larva. And there's a lot of bugs that start off looking somewhat like this, the larva stage. With all of her strength, she pulls her body free. Instinctively, she nibbles an aphid near her eggshell, these little teeny tiny green bugs. Just one is not enough for this appetite, though. By dawn, the larva has eaten 15 of the little green pests. Her skin feels tight. She has already outgrown it. So she attaches her hind end, her bottom, to the bottom of a leaf and hangs down. The old skin splits along her back, and the larva, wearing a larger and more colorful skin that has been growing underneath, wiggles out. Eventually, her head and legs become glossy black in the sunlight. And I have kind of an example of what that looks like. That ladybug larva. So if you saw this in your garden, you wouldn't be thinking ladybug, would you? But that's what they look like for one of their early stages. And they eat so many of those little bugs, and soon their skin becomes tight, right? Because they're starting to grow and they need, it's kind of like that. The snakes, they come out of their skin too, and they have to wiggle free of that skin. And they change a little bit as they grow. One morning, she discovers a cluster of aphids massed together at the base of a leaf. She crawls into the middle of the aphids and she begins to feast. She begins to eat. Unfortunately, there is time to only eat a few. Without warning, sharp jaws pinch her side, and then they bite her in the leg, and the larva tucks her head under her body, and she thrusts sharp bristles up into the air. Like a pack of wolves, ants are attacking her from all sides. It is their job to protect the aphids from danger. They like to eat the sweet honeydew juices that the aphids expel while feeding on plant juices. So the ants like these aphids too. They like to drink their sweet aphid juice. So that ladybug, that larva, has to protect herself, so she puts her bristles up on her back. The ants quickly chase the larva up the flower stem, nipping at her the whole way. And then they rush back down to stand guard over their aphid herd. Luckily, the larva is not hurt. Her bristles are a strong shield against ant attacks. When she reaches the top, the larva finds a smaller group of unguarded aphids. She eats as many as her stomach can hold. The next afternoon, she climbs onto a flower petal. As she sheds her skin one final time, it is pushed down into folds. The larva now looks completely different. She is covered by a hard orange pupa with bumps and black spots. Inside, well, hi, Oliver. Inside this pupa, the larva transforms. She develops wings on her back. One pair will be a strong shell that covers her second, more delicate pair of flying wings underneath. Right? She has kind of a harder shell here that can kind of open up, and then underneath she has those soft flying wings. A butterfly. Do you want to show preschoolers the butterfly that we brought out? I had a butterfly out here too.
This is so beautiful.
Maybe on Wednesday we'll read a book about butterflies. Would that be good? Okay. Oliver, if you'd like to see the book, you want to sit over here? You'll be able to see it really good. This is a really cool book about ladybugs.
And larvas.
And larvas. After 5 days, she is ready to leave this pupa. She leans way back and then forward and back again. The walls loosen all around, and with one final push, the pupa breaks open. Shining in the sunlight, a splendid little beetle crawls into the world. At first, beetle. She's a kind of a beetle.
Ooh.
I know. Isn't that great? We see lots of beetles around here.
Yeah, and stag beetles are bad.
Oh.
They have pinchers.
They do. At first, her shell is pale and soft, and the fresh air begins to harden it. So here comes what we know of as a ladybug. Sorry. The ladybug climbs down the flower stem onto a leaf, and she spreads her crumpled wings to dry them. Over a couple of hours, her shell becomes bright and fiery red. It sends a message to her enemies. Don't eat me, or you will be sorry. Nearby, we see another bug here. Oliver, do you know what this one is? Do you remember that one?
A grasshopper.
He looks a lot like a grasshopper, but he's not a grasshopper. He's taller, and he has really long front arms, too. He's called a praying mantis.
Ooh, that's from the grouchy ladybug book.
Ah, very good. Yes, you're right. The praying mantis, they also have like a triangle-shaped head. This is kind of like what we think of as an upside-down triangle, but it's a triangle-shaped head. Nearby, a praying mantis watches with powerful green eyes. He is not worried by bright colors or flashy warnings.
Praying mantis are so cool.
They are very cool. I like praying mantis.
And there are green.
Yeah, we have seen green ones in the yard. This one is brown, but yeah, they are green or brown. At least he's not worried when dinner is within reach. He readies his claws and he waits patiently. When the ladybug's wings are as stiff as paper, she is ready to fly. She flaps them, whir, whir. She pushes hard against the air, and her body feels lighter as it lifts into the sky. For the first time in the ladybug's life, her tiny feet leave the flower where she was born. Flying is such a wonderful new experience, she doesn't even notice the praying mantis moving closer. He blends into the tall grass so well. You could almost say he's kind of camouflage against that tall brown grass. Do you think that's right? Yeah, it's hard to see him. Just then, like a flash of lightning, the praying mantis reaches out and snatches a ladybug from the air. He brings her up to his mouth. But before he can take a bite, the ladybug has time for one defense. A bitter orange fluid oozes out of her legs. The praying mantis gets a drop of that in his mouth and is so shocked by the awful taste that he drops his prey immediately.
Oh no!
That's a pretty good defense. So she has this orange liquid that can come out of her legs that will tell anything that's trying to eat her that she tastes really bad. Isn't that amazing? The ladybug falls onto the leaf. She lands on her back and holds her body still. If she doesn't move a muscle, the praying mantis might think she is dead. But he is hungry and he is determined. He readies his claws to reach for her again. Suddenly, a dragonfly flutters in front of him. Look at that beautiful dragonfly. Ooh. The praying mantis swivels his head to watch it. He cannot resist the flapping wings. The ladybug watches as her attacker turns, and he follows his new victim into the tall grass. Maybe the next time he meets a beetle with a bright red shell, he will remember the terrible taste and think twice about eating it.
Tasty.
Would you like to eat a ladybug, Oliver?
No.
Do you think she has a good taste or a yucky taste?
Yucky taste.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I would eat a ladybug either.
A butterfly in that
I have eaten crickets before. I have crickets here to try. When you guys come back, we're going to eat some crickets.
Can I eat some?
Sure. They have sour cream and onion flavoring on them. But they're real crickets. I mean, they're actual crickets. It's not like when I tricked you about the gummy worm at Halloween.
Food.
No.
Crickets.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to get you some crickets after this, okay? Can we finish the book?
Yeah. Hey, there's a grasshopper.
Oh, that is a grasshopper. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see the grasshopper there? Okay, I'm going to finish the book. Sure that the praying mantis is gone, the ladybug flips onto her feet and she crawls to the edge of the leaf. Her strong shell saved her from any real injury. Cautiously, she looks around, she raises her wings, and she flies off the flower. Later that night, frost settles on the meadow. Remember, at the beginning of this book, they said that it was fall time. So the nights are starting to get chilly. They're starting to get cold in preparation for winter. Many insects, including aphids, do not survive the cold. The ladybug is affected too. The cold makes it hard for her to move her muscles.
Where is the aphids in here?
Well, they were on an earlier page. You missed that page, but I'll show you in a minute, okay? They're the little green bugs, remember? She warms her muscles the next morning by sitting in the sun. Her flight is clumsy at first, but in time it becomes more controlled. She passes a butterfly sipping nectar deep inside the flower, and she sees a grasshopper chewing a blade of grass. But there are no aphids for the ladybug. She knows that it is time to say goodbye to summer and find.
There's no aphids in this.
Yeah, it's getting ready for winter time.
Oh.
And she knows that it's time to find a sheltered place to hide for the winter.
This ladybug wants to hide around the winter.
An old rotting branch at the foot of a birch tree looks inviting. The ladybug climbs through a hole in the bark and down into the comforting darkness of the wood.
That's the
it's just like her.
home.
A small group of ladybugs is already there, and she joins the others, and huddled together they sleep. All winter long, harsh winds whip across a thick blanket of snow. Deep inside the log, the ladybugs rest quietly, and they wait for spring to come. And when the warm sun melts the snow, the ladybug will lay her eggs on an aphid-covered plant, and a new generation of beetles will brighten the meadow, and the cycle of life begins again.
Are beetles Are beetles nice?
A lot of beetles are nice. Ladybugs are a kind of beetle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell a lot of beetles have this hard outer shell, and this one is kind of split into two, and then underneath they might have wings.
This toy
And that kind of helps us to know if it's a beetle. Yeah, one of her antennae has gotten
pretend is
broken.
long like that.
Sounds good.
Pretend is not broken.
Do you want to say goodbye to your preschool friends?
Bye!
Hey, thanks for watching. This was a super long video. I love you guys. I miss you, and I'll see you guys at some point, okay? Go outside and look for bugs today. It's going to be really nice. Mwah. Bye, guys.